Well, it's a lovely summer's day here, 25 degrees. Lovely, lovely weather we're having in the UK at the moment. This is Table Talk. Welcome to Model Kit Stuff. Yes, hello, welcome to Table Talk. It's been a hot week, and as much as I love seeing the sunshine, we don't get a lot of it in this country, and it's been a real pleasure. It hasn't half messed with my drying times. Anyway, before we have a conversation about what's gone on this week, if you're one of my new subscribers this week, then thank you very, very much for subscribing. Please also hit the notification bell. I have 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 videos go out in a week, and you'll get a notification for all of those. So we're doing first impressions, tool reviews, product reviews, quick tips. I'm just recently started doing a back to basics or introducing basics videos. And basically, as I'm doing things, as I build them, and I've got an opportunity to show something, I'll do a little video. Some of my videos are really short, 10 minutes. Some of them are up to an hour, and build videos are usually around about an hour. So that's what you're in store for as a subscriber. If you're an existing subscriber, then you will know all of that. So thank you very much for continuing to stay with the channel. We have lots coming, and we'll talk about what's coming up in the very near future very soon. Right then, drying times, what a nightmare. I've been getting up early in the morning and going to bed late at night just so that I can do spray painting when it's cool, because this week I was working on the Gota seaplane, and we're at that stage where it's lots and lots of painting. Wouldn't you believe it? If it had been Queen Mary 2 week, I would have been hand painting and bending photo etch, and it would have made very little difference to me. But the truth of the matter is, if I didn't do Gota this week, we wouldn't have enough material for the next video. So that's sort of where we were. So let's talk about what's been going on the bench next then, shall we? So, as you can see, we've progressed with the Gota despite the weather's best efforts. I have painted all of the wings. This is the lower wing, but the upper wing in 2 sections goes out the side of the fuselage. That's also painted. It's been painted in the field grey-green. The metalwork is a very, very pale grey, so pale that it's almost white. That is white. There ain't a lot of difference, really. So these are the white patches ready for putting our decals on our Balkan crosses, and you can see that follows through on the underside. And as that's been painted on afterwards, I thought we'd try and make that look a little bit patchy. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So that's gone well. The top wing has been done as well. Engine cowlings have been given a first coat, so they're ready for a second coat. So they're also in this very pale grey. So you can see this is our fuselage in the process of being painted. The field grey's done. We are now at the first stages of doing the wood graining at the front and at the back. And then we've got this grey, light grey area here, which is ready for a second coat. So loads going on. But actually, I'm at that stage in the build where it feels like there's not that much left to do. And it takes you a lot longer than you imagine. And you start thinking about what's coming next and you get excited. Well, we know what's coming next, which is the Beaufighter. But basically, we've got to build up the engines, which are all done and painted, so they just need to be slotted in place. Put the stanchions in, ready for putting the top wing on. Rig it all, which will be quite a slow process, I imagine. And then we've got a couple of little detail bits to do, machine gun to add, and bits and pieces, some touch-up, clear coating, decals, and that really is it. Well, obviously assembling it as well, but yeah, we are nearly there. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming together. Got little bits of touch up to do here and there next, and you should see this not in the next video but the video after that. So because you'll see the engines being built and painted in the next video, which will be go to 9, because obviously yesterday you had go to 8. So that's where we are with that. It's not the only thing I've been doing this week. I've also been doing some stuff with the Scharnhorst. Now, when I say I've been doing stuff with the Scharnhorst, I've not started the build. I can't remember if I mentioned this last weekend or not, so I'll mention it again. I have primed the hull in automotive white primer because it was nice and dry. It's a big job. It was a rattle can, and I'll only do those outside. So I was able to get out there with the rattle can, give it a spray, so it's primed, so that we've done it in white, so I can start marking it up with what I want to do. But the main thing I've been doing this week is making the hull shape cards. So these are them, and these give me the correct hull profile from the technical drawings of the Scharnhorst. So you can see I've got them going all the way down the full length. I'm not finished doing them yet, and it's a very simple process. I've got them in 1 to 200 scale, and I'm just tracing them out, marking them on paper and cutting them out on paper. So jobs are good and nice and easy. I have done with the bow half, and I'm now on the stern half. So they become all individual cards, and then you'll be able to put them at the designated spot along the length of the hull and go, yep, is that profile correct or not? Now, that doesn't mean that I plan to do loads of hull corrections, but if there's some minor stuff which just need material taking away, we might well do that. The length of the hull is bob on, so the bow shape is incorrect because they've used the bow for the sister ship. So we have some work there to do to get that the correct shape. And then we've got to fill pretty much all of the scuttles and re-drill those, because they're pretty much all in the wrong place. And there's various other things that we've got to do as well. Now, keeping with the hull, I had a delivery today from America, which is my white ensign etch. So I've got the 1 to 200 scale eyebrows. So those will be used exclusively for the hull. The ones that you get in the Mark 1 upgrade set have the ring underneath, and they're all right for the superstructure, but they're not correct at all for the hull, and they look wrong. I have used them on the hull. I used them on the 1-200 Mikasa in the 1902 guys, and they actually added to the sort of turn of the century ironclad pre-dreadnought look, and they looked really cool on there. It added to it, even though it wasn't historically accurate. But this, we're going to go with historical accuracy, so we'll put the eyebrows on. So we'll be putting our own scuttles in and then putting eyebrows over them, and it'll look correct. Also, sticking with the hull, I have these. So this is the sea chest and ventilator set for the Bismarck in 1-200 scale. And the arrangement on the Bismarck is almost identical to the Scharnhorst. From the very limited research material I've been able to find, there is no mention of things like boiler intakes and things like that in the anatomy of the ship. They have these large ones, and they're in exactly the same configuration as on the Bismarck, as is the hydrophones. So we'll be able to do the hydrophones because I've got the template for the Bismarck, so we can use that to mark that out, and we can now put in these. Now, I don't know whether the arrangement underneath would be the same. The boilers probably aren't in exactly the same position, and there might have been different equipment and so on and so forth. So I don't know, but the way I'm planning to display on a display stand, you ain't going to get a good view underneath anyway. So I think what we might end up doing is just putting the big ones in. And when we come to do it, I'll show you how to do it without putting massive holes in your hull and then having to build boxes at the back and all that sort of stuff. It's not necessary at all. You can do it a lot quicker and get exactly the same effect. So that's all to come when we start the Scharnhorst. So we've done that. That's pretty much the last of the stuff I need to order for it. I've still got that one paint for steel decks and boot lines and what have you missing, and it's still not in stock. So that's starting to bother me a little bit. But that's the only thing outstanding. I've got everything else, and when these cards are done, that's all my pre-prep done, so that when Queen Mary is to, we can just go, right, let's build a Scharnhorst, and away we go. There's nothing holding me back. We can get straight into cutting around with that hull. So that's what I've done on the bench this week. From your guys' point of view, what did you see? Well, I did say that I wasn't sure there'd be anything out on Monday, but just wake that up. I did manage to get out a little video on thinning paint. So this was one of my introducing basics. And what I'm trying to do is very basic stuff. So most of you that are watching this channel, it won't be any news to you, but it's for anyone who's new or coming back to the hobby and used to only use the Humbrol enamels, and now they've got this world of paints. And I know there's people out there who only paint with a paintbrush, and I know there's people out there who are venturing into the airbrush and are nervous about it and so on, because people send me those messages about it, and you know, people's first step with airbrushes seems to be I can paint a hull but I can't do detail, and it all comes with experience. But one of the things that can really mess up your airbrushing as well as your paintbrushing is not getting your paint thickness right. So I thought that was a good little video for all sorts of different people for all sorts of reasons. It's only a short video, what is it, 8 minutes or something like that. There's not much to say. It's, you know, thin it till it runs fast. Try it and see. So that was what we had on Monday. Then we had, oh yes, the CSM kit. Got a lot of comments about that. A lot of people were going, actually, that's really nice. I think I want one. And absolutely, you should get one. Shame I'm not on commission, really. It's a stunning little kit and really clear instructions. Yeah, I thought it was very nice little kit. I have got another CSM kit review coming along, another aircraft. Not quite sure when that's coming out, but it's been recorded. It just needs editing. But yeah, that came out, got a lot of love, and quite rightly so. It's a well-presented kit. It's nicely done. They come from Lithuania now, despite the fact that they've kept the CSM logo and brand. And I think it's just a well-presented kit, well thought through, great materials. So yeah, interesting. And then, of course, we had Gotha 8 yesterday, and then we were here. So what's coming up next week? Well, on Monday, I've got a product review for you. If you've ever worried that you're about to start a mini art kit, especially a mini art kit with a full interior, and you look at the box, you open the box, you see what's in front of you, and you go, oh my gosh, there simply is not enough parts in here, then you want to watch Monday's video, because Monday's video is a product that just adds more parts to that mini art interior kit. So yeah, that's quite a fun little video, only a short little video, but yeah, little product review. Then on Wednesday, I'm just reminding myself off my spreadsheet of what's coming. On Wednesday, we've got a car kit review. Now, when was the last time you saw me do one of those? I haven't done one for ages, and they've always been sort of World War II era staff cars and that sort of stuff. Well, this is as far removed from that as you can get. I've been after this kit for ages, and some of you that have been watching Table Talk for a while will know that my good friend over in the States, the Scale Model Car channel, Guy channel, whatever, whichever sequence it is, sent me something I'd been after for ages. So we'll be doing the first impressions of the Dukes of Hazzard General Lee on Wednesday. Yeah, you can tell by my face I loved it, absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to get stuck into it. I'm gonna have to work out what's the best paint to use for that General Lee orange, because it's quite an unusual colour. I have no idea what colour that is. So if you've got any thoughts, put it in the comments. If you think you know what that General Lee colour is, please by all means educate me. Okay, so then we've got part 3 of the fire engine, and that will be, I think, the penultimate episode in that build. We should get to it nearly being finished in that video. Don't know yet because I've not finished editing it. I don't know whether I'm going to have a full build video coming out of that or not. So if it's only half an hour or something, I might shove it in the Monday slot to finish it off. Don't know. So yeah, that's sort of what you've got coming next week. Now, I did start the bow fighter this week as well. I nearly forgot to mention it. It was so hot one day at the weekend, last weekend, that I couldn't do any painting and I couldn't do any gluing or anything. So I just cleaned up a load of parts and got a head start on that. So yeah, so that's where we're up to with all things modelly, I guess. Sorry? Oh, these? Yeah, a couple of cheeky stash ads. Shall we talk about them? Go on then. So, 2 new kits into my stash this week. This was a little bit of a spontaneous purchase. So, I'd seen it a couple of times on the pre-orders on Scale Model Shop, which is somewhere I frequent quite a little bit. And I'd seen it and I'd ummed about it. So basically this is I think it was 2016 that Takom released this. And I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Is it Gepard? I'm going to say Gepard. But they released that in 2016. 2-in-1, I think that means you can build the A1 or the A2. I think that's what they mean by that. But I'm not really sure. It's a bit odd. The box top is deeper than the actual box inner, so you get this funny lip on it. You can see that there, can't you? You can see that. It's really odd, and as a result, the box is starting to come apart where it's catching. But yeah, this has been re-released as a special edition, and the only difference to it compared to its original release is you get a very, very small, and when I say small, I mean that sort of size, decal sheet with 2 decals on, which gives you Ukrainian markings. So I ended up biting the bullet and going for it because I'd ummed about it. Haven't built modern armour for ages and ages and ages. So long ago that I tried to think back, when was the last time I did some modern armour? And I can't remember ever building any. I must have, absolutely must have. But I don't remember ever building any modern armour. Last The last tank we did obviously was the Tiger 1. Before that we did the Airfix Cromwell. I've got the Tacom King Tiger with interior kit. I've got the Panther 1 from Airfix, which is the old Academy reboxed. I've got the Thunder Models Hetzer, and I have got a Tamiya Challenger 2 Desert Storm version lurking. It's an old kit now, so it's a bit basic, and I think that's the most modern kit I've got other than that, and I've not built it, so I can't remember building modern armour recently, so I thought, you know what, why not? Yeah, so that's why I bought that. And at the same time, I bought this, which was what I was really looking to get. I'd seen some images on the internet. I knew it was on pre-order, so I plopped it on pre-order. 2 days later, both of these, which were both on pre-order, arrived. So this is now available in the UK at least, so I'm guessing available everywhere else. And it's the Thunder Models Morris Beaufort C9/B late. And then it says the iconic British World War II gun truck. And it's something a little bit different because you've basically got an anti-aircraft gun mount on the back of a truck. So when I reviewed, this is my second Thunder Models kit. When I reviewed the Hetzer, I was really impressed. It was multimedia, photo etch, resin, plastic. I believe this is the same. I've opened the box just to have a quick look inside and make sure everything's okay. So I know there's resin wheels in there, and I know there's 3 or 4 sheets of photo etch and bits and pieces in here. So I'm looking forward to that. So coming up in the next week or two, I'll be filming these as first impressions videos, and we'll see how that kit comes on. So yeah, quite exciting to get those. I haven't had anything of the Airfix pre-orders yet, so I'm hoping they're going to start filtering through now we're in the summer, because I'm starting to run out of things to film for first impressions, if I'm honest. So yeah, they are there to be built at some point. And as always, get the kit, get dead excited about it, put it in the stash, forget about it. And then one day I'll be rooting through and go, oh yeah, quite fancy doing that. And then we'll get it on the desk. But right now, you know the plan. The plan is Queen Mary 2, followed by 1200 Scharnhorst in her March 1943 setup. And then after the Gotha, we're going to do the Mark 1 Beaufort. And then I don't know, there's part of me wants to do the Vulcan, there's part of me quite fancies doing the Hunter, because there's a lot of decals on it and I do like my decals. There's part of me that would like to do something completely different and maybe do sci-fi. There's part of me that wants to do the Thunderchild diorama, but I feel that's more of a winter project than a summer project. Don't know. I don't know what will be coming next. I might ask you guys, might do a survey and say, look, here's a load of kits. Which one do you fancy seeing me build next? And see what people say. But it's a bit like voting in an election when you do that. You do first past the post, the one with the most votes wins. But actually, quite often, more people collectively voted for anything but that. So you end up doing the one that least people want to see, you know, like you end up with a prime minister that the least people want to have. Anyway, we don't do politics on here, so we'll stick with the modelling. Actually, we won't stick with the modelling. How about we have a quick look at what's going on in the garden, because it's been 3-4 weeks since you last had a look. And we've had sunshine and we've had rain, and that makes things grow. Right then, a quick garden update. So our herbs and things are all doing okay. Have some strawberries forming, but my main strawberry plant over here has got lots of fruit on it. Then we've got our leeks, which are doing well, and we have flowers on our French beans, so I'm happy about that. Considering we lost one of the plants, I don't know what's happened to the spinach. That's bonkers. I thought it was going to be a little low plant. I've grown it before, and definitely that's what it was, so I don't know what that is, but yeah, we're eating some of it. Spring onions are doing nicely. They're certainly looking spring oniony, and both the tomato plants now have flowers, so we are going to get some fruit. All this sun will be helping, of course, and they're growing quite well. Obviously they don't grow quite as well as when they're in a greenhouse, but yeah, they're doing all right. We should definitely get some nice tomatoes. Rhubarb, we've had some more of that last weekend, so that's thinned that out a little bit, but we can see there's plenty of growth in there. And we've got gooseberries fattening up nicely, so we're going to have a nice little bundle of those this year. And then some more tomato plants. Paul didn't want to throw them away, so she planted them out. All doing well. Red Baron's not doing so well this year. It's usually a lot healthier looking than that, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Foxglove is flowering. That's a plant that I put out a few years ago and never did anything, and there was a big plant here that died last winter, and suddenly the foxgloves come back. My ground cover, I forget what it's called, that's flowering as well. The bees love that, so it's really pretty. And this bush is flowering as well. Really pretty flowers on that. The poor old hosta's getting a little bit smothered. This thing grows through from next door, and I'll have to cut it back at the weekend. I don't mind it at the back. Gives some nice colour and height at the back. Has lovely red flowers on it. You can see there's one there. And we're starting to see the Solomon seal being eaten alive, but this is much later than usual, so whatever that moth is, there hasn't been as many of them this year. Lots of new shoots on the black bamboo. The elderflower is flowering lovely. Lovely flowers. We'll have to cut that back this autumn, or it'll get too big. This hosta I'm hoping will start flowering soon, but she's looking amazing. And this thing, when it flowers, the flowers are so heavy that the stems are dragged to the ground, so I'll have to look at some way of propping that up, but you can see how it's fanned open. So yeah, that is their garden. You might be wondering why there's a wingnut wings box. Well, that's going to the recycling because it doesn't warrant keeping it for the few parts I've got left to sort. Right, now then, couple of more things to talk about before I let you move on to your next video or whatever it is you're doing. Firstly, I talked a few weeks ago about the fact that I'm waiting a diagnosis for autism and that I was starting a second channel. I have now launched that channel. It's in its shaky infancy with a couple of videos which I've not quite found my groove and my style for. It's so different to doing this. And actually, one of the differences, I really feel like I know what I'm talking about, even if you guys think sometimes I don't. I feel like I know what I'm talking about with this, whereas autism is something that I'm understanding myself, and what that means to me and my family, and it's about going on that journey and discovering it as an adult, middle-aged, and putting out there what that means. And I'm still finding my feet with the channel, but A few of you mentioned you're interested in seeing that, and some positive comments around the autism. Thank you very much. So if you are interested in that, I will leave a link in the commentary underneath the video, and you can go and check that out. The channel is called Suddenly I'm Autistic, because pretty much that's what happened. You get to 52 and suddenly I'm autistic. So yeah. Go and check that out if you're interested. Currently, the only subscriber is this channel, Model Kit Stuff, is the only subscriber to that. That's so that I can keep my eye on what's going on a little bit easier. So I'd appreciate a couple of subscriptions, but only if you're interested. It's not really modelling related, and we certainly won't be mentioning it on this channel again. Pretty much, I try and keep everything focused on modelling, but I do know that some of you over the last couple of years, coming on for 3 years now, have got to know me a little bit, and you know, are interested in what else is going on. So that's why in this slot we mention things like being on holiday and what have you. Makes it a bit more personable, which brings me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is Telford. As there's Telford, and then in August there is Stoke. So those are two model shows that I'm planning to go to this year. Now, I don't know about Stoke, but I'm definitely going to be going, and we'll just have a wander around. So if you're there, by all means, shout out and say hello. But Telford, there were several people that wanted to bump into me at Telford, and we didn't. Our paths did not cross for one reason or another. So I'm planning to do Telford again this year, probably the Saturday, but don't know yet. But I'm going to do it a bit differently, so that anybody who wants to say hello, like Peter Oxley missed me last year, for example, and Rob at Roomies Models. If you want to come along and say hello, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I will be at such and such a stand, probably the Airfix stand, because they have a spot with a big floor space, and it's just near where you get something to eat and drink, and just near the sort of build your own section. So there's a lot of floor space there, so it's a good place to meet. So I'm probably going to say, right, well, at 1 o'clock I'll be there, and people, or I might say 3 o'clock or something like that. So people can pile in, they can share with me what they've bought, and their plans of sneaking it past her indoors. On all of that stuff. So if anyone wants to say hello and meet me in person and just have a chat, we can do that. I'd like to do that, and I'd like to meet as many of you as I can. We have a nice little community of people here that I talk to regularly. So I'm going to do that for Telford this year. I'm going to say, right, I'll be here at this time. Come and say hello. That's what my plan is. If you're in the local area for Stoke, then I'm definitely going to go to the Stoke show as well. It's always a nice little show, and I've got 1 or 2 bargains from there. So you recently, earlier this year, I think it was earlier this year, might have been late last year, I did the first impressions of the original tooling Tamiya 1 to 350 Yamato. I got that from there, and I've got some other bits and pieces. So there's always some interesting stuff to get from that show as well. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the Stoke show. It's about an hour away from me, so it's not too far. Easy to do that there and back in a day. So this will be the 3rd time I've done that show, and then Telford, and that's me done for this year. Now I know that some of you go a long way to get to Telford. I'm even aware of some people coming from Australia to Telford who are keen to have a cup of tea and a slice of cake with me. So you're more than welcome. So we'll do that. That's what's coming up longer term. Just wanted to let people know when I've got a firmer plan, then I'll tell you what that is. Now, I did mention last week that I had a plan to do Meet the Creator live. That's still the plan, but I can't firm that up this week. So hopefully be able to firm that up in next week's, or I might put a little video announcement out, because it will be truly special and I'm looking forward to doing it. I think that is about it for this week. I have to press stop every now and then because I've had COVID this week. And I had a terrible sore throat and it's left me with a bit of a cough. So I have been stopping this every now and then. So as a result, as I'm looking at this, it's telling me I've been recording for nearly 7 minutes. So altogether, I don't know how long this video is, and I might have been talking for 2 hours for all I know, because time just goes like that. Anyway, you now know what's coming up next week and what we're thinking about further down the line. Thank you very much for watching. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.